How can you speak with a loved one who has passed? Can you have a conversation with them? In this video, I'm going to teach you some ways that you can communicate with your dearly beloved loved one who has passed away. We know that life goes on, right? Hello, beautiful beings. I'm Carol Wraithall, and I'm an occupational therapist. I help people on their awakening journey. I help people tune into their inner wisdom from upstairs, their higher self, and I help people have fulfilling lives. Part of that is knowing how we can use our spiritual nature to navigate our way through the things that happen in our life. To answer this question, let's take a quick dive into, do we live on or not when we no longer need our body, when our body dies? I have listened to many hundreds of accounts of people who've had near-death experiences. Now, it's a strange term because it's near-death, but what really happens is the person dies. They leave their body, they go home to the other side. They might talk with a counsellor of light who helped them plan this current life that they had, or they might meet their family and then they come back to their body because it's not their time to go, or there might be an agreement that they make, and often people come back really changed. Sometimes they come back with supernatural powers. From those accounts we know that there's a part of them that lives on. They describe it as the person they know is I, the part that still feels like a young spirit inside you, even though you might be over 50. That part of us lives on. If you're not entirely sure whether we live on when we die, I really recommend you explore the subject of the near-death experiences. There's some names I can give you. There's Dannion Brinkley. He died 4 times and came back. There's Dr. Raymond Moody, who unwittingly became the near-death experience doctor because somebody told him their story. The word got around and doctors were sending people to him after that to hear their stories. So he's heard thousands of stories and written books about it, and you can look him up online on YouTube. You can look at his seminars. The next thing that you can do practically now to talk with your loved one is to get an object that they wore a lot, like a watch, a ring, maybe their glasses, a hat or a jacket, something of theirs that they had on their body nearly every day of their latter years. Now, we have learnt through the work of a Dr. Joe Dispenza, who holds retreats with people, and they self-heal through meditation and through his education of the power we can tap into. And one of his retreats, I think he was loaned this instrument, and it measures energy in the room. Now, what they discovered was that when people did meditation, the energy in the room went up. One day, it was like the second or third day, and everybody's energy was really high. They went down to the beach, and what they discovered was when they were out of the room, this device was still reading energy in the room. When they started a meditation, on the moment they started to meditate on that beach, the instrument read an increase in the energy in the room, about to the same level that it did when they were meditating in the room. Now, there have been other scientists experimenting on this. Do we leave an energy behind? Yes, we do. And what other scientists have discovered, and Dr. Joe teaches, that it lasted for 30 days. So when you've got an object that belongs to your loved one that they wore a lot, their essence, their energy is still with you, and that energy can be a portal of communication. We all have 1 or 2 senses that are our super sense. We might see things, we might see flashes of light, we might see orbs, I see a lot of orbs in people's YouTube videos when they are quite spiritually evolved, and they're moving energy around and it comes in and out of their heart or their forehead. Or you might see orbs moving in your peripheral vision. That might make you clairvoyant, which means you can see the non-physical. Or you might hear, and that's clairaudient. Or you might be able to feel energies, that's clairsentient. And there is something for the sense of smell, I can't remember what that is. But we've got one of these senses that is stronger than the other, so discover it for yourself. So when you're holding that object, and if you've got your sense that you've got a super strength with, tune in and see what comes to you. Now this is where we need to address the subject of imagination. When you first receive impressions, you might think that you're just imagining it. Well, you are, but what we've been taught about imagination is wrong. Our imagination is a tool, and it's the language of the non-physical. So when you're receiving information from your loved one, when you're tuning into them through that object, that article of clothing or whatever it is, don't judge it. It's a good idea, if you've got your phone, to record your impressions. Just speak them as they come, or if you're better with a pen and paper, write it down. Just don't judge anything. Let it all come. It's quite a good idea to have some questions, maybe 3 to 5 questions that you want to ask your loved one. Like, how are you? What's it like where you are? Can you describe where you are? Is there anything you want me to know? They will use symbols to talk to you, so don't judge it, write it down. And when you've finished, have a look at what you've written down. If you've made a recording, do transcribe it, because when we look at the written words, you might see that it has come out in the way they talk. They've used the words that they normally use. It's your knowledge of this person that provides the portal for them to communicate. So you might think, well, I know the way they speak, so I'm still making it up. In a way, you're setting the scene. It's like a movie. The director sets a scene for the movie to happen. So when you imagine them, and you imagine them communicating the way that they would talk to you, you're providing that means for them to communicate with you. So it's still real. If nothing happened, if you didn't get anything, but you got to hang out with them for a little while and feel the energy, that's a win. Each time you do this, you are building your skills, and you're providing that conduit of communication with them. It's like a telephone line or an internet Wi-Fi. Now, does their energy last on that item of clothing for more than 30 days? Yes, because each time you do this, you are keeping their energy focused on that article, and because they've worn it for many years, they've really infused it with their energy. Let's explore another way that you can communicate with them. Just look at my notes here. Right, so we touched on it a little bit a while ago, is the writing, but now I'm talking about automatic writing. What you can do is become a channel for your loved one to speak through, if you feel comfortable with this. What you can do is you can write down a question. Hello, John, what are you doing over there? And then you hold your pen and just write down whatever comes to mind. Again, you write the first thing that comes to mind. Don't judge it. Maybe don't pay very much attention to it, because you can click yourself out of this, but just write it down. If it raises a question that you want to clarify, write down your question and write down the answer. In time, you'll find that as you ask the question and you're writing it down, the answer's already coming to you. This is how people can learn to channel higher beings. In fact, we're built to be a channel. Channeling isn't weird, it's not evil. Unless you're channeling an evil entity. But we're not going to do that, right? People who watch my videos are not into that, and if you are, this isn't for you. So we're talking about your loved one, and you know the feel of their energy. So you can ask them to come and stand beside you or in front of you, and then you can invite them to merge their energy with you. And when they do that, you can open up your heart and envelop them with your love, and they will do the same with you in your heart. And then when you have this conversation on paper, you might have the tears streaming down your face, because there's going to be a lot of love in this. And try not to feel sad, because they're right there with you. Embrace that moment. Make the most of it. If you do feel sad and you break down and it doesn't work for a few times, it's okay. It's fine. Just come back to it. When you want to connect with them, it will get easier with time. And as we talked about with tuning in with them and writing things down, you can look over what you've written that they've said to you, and you'll notice it's them speaking. If you get nothing the first few times, don't worry. Again, you're providing that telephone line or the Wi-Fi system for them to communicate with you. And no time that you do this is ever a waste. Even if you just hang out with them and just feel the energy around you, that can be worth everything. It can be worth all the words that they might have said. Yeah? Now, the last one I'm going to mention in this video is about meditation. We can use meditation as a way to communicate with our loved one. And in my next video on meditation, I'm going to talk about that in a deeper way. For now, I'll say, once you've reached the zone that you're feeling nice and relaxed, then you can invite them into your mind's eye. And when you see them in your mind's eye, then you can open up a simple conversation. This one is going to be less easy, because if you write it down, you're going to wake yourself up out of meditation. So you may want to limit your questions to 2 or 3 to start with. Or you may just invite them to speak and just hear what they say. Or it might be a sensory experience that you feel them. Any one of your super senses might come to the forefront in meditation and provide you with something. And again, if you just see them in your mind's eye and nothing happens, you're still, yes, opening the conduit. And as I said, we're going to dive deeper into that in the next video. So I'm going to end it there. If you like what you heard and you like the subject, put it in the comments below. Feel free to ask me questions. I love answering them. Subscribe and tap the notification bell, because I'm going to be coming back with that next video very soon, and you don't want to miss that one. If you haven't meditated before, I suggest you watch my series, especially the first one called The Best Meditation Ever, in its short form on the thumbnail. In that video, I teach you some basics of meditation and techniques so you can get the best out of it. And in the description box, I've put a link to a free meditation you can stream. It teaches your body how to get into the right relaxed state, and it teaches you how to quiet your mind and how to work around your thoughts so that you can still be in your meditation even though there's still thoughts there. Because we have thoughts every 7 seconds. It's a fact. So we never really empty our mind of thoughts unless we're really experienced. However, there's ways of getting around it, and the way I learned to do it is, I think, pretty cool for me, and I hope it helps you. So I look forward to seeing you, and I will be waiting for you in the next video. Bye for now.